young employees with the right skill needed to fast-track development and enable teams to flourish.
All right, Kenny, I want us to take a look at the stories around this form hem that our people have been talking about. But we'll have an analyst in the studio also this morning. I'd like you to meet him. We have Mr. Godwin Oyefeso in the studio. Good morning, Mr. Oyefeso.
Good morning,
How are you doing?
Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir. It's a pleasure.
All right,
Good morning, Mr. Oyefeso.
It's a pleasure.
Now, talking about this matter, Mr. Oyefeso, I believe that we were having a conversation about it. Now, you are in the export industry sector.
Yeah.
You understand what it is to open a Form M where you want to bring in goods and all of that. But now the CBN is basically saying, for a fact, first of all, that the destination payment, they call the circular destination payment for all Form M, letter of credit and other forms of payment. And the circular was addressed to all authorized dealers, members of the public, and it was signed by the Director of Trade and Exchange Department. Now, what exactly is a Form M? Let's start from there.
Anyway, let me start by saying that the Nigerian economy has declined by 6.10% in the second quarter of 2020.
Yes.
That's indicating a negative growth. And
as everybody in the world is experiencing.
But basically in the financial sector. And whatever affects the financial sector affects the economy.
Okay.
And the negative effect adversely affect the populace.
Yes.
And so based on that, the monetary policy in most times has to be rekindled so that things will not fall apart. But like you said, the question you want to ask is that what is Form M? Okay, Form M is just a mandatory statutory document
yes.
That you use to complete by all importers. Okay, for the importation of goods into Nigeria.
Okay.
So it's it's a mandatory document.
It's a mandatory document for all importers.
Yes.
Now, what the CBN is saying, as part of continued efforts of the CBN to ensure prudent use of foreign exchange and resources and eliminate incidences of over-invoicing, transfer pricing, double handling charges and avoidable costs that are ultimately passed to the average Nigerian consumer. Authorized dealers are hereby directed to desist from opening Form M, whose payment are routed through a buying company, agent or any other party. Now we're talking about the CBN's new directive for over-invoicing. If my director can help me put the topic right up there. Over-invoicing?
Over-invoicing.
I hear something like desist from
overpricing,
over-invoicing, transfer pricing, double handling charges.
Quite a lot of
it. Yes, people are for,
here. Let me start with 4. Okay, like I said, the recent CBN ban on the third party arrangement definitely will kill and also reduce the volume of import into the country. That's the first thing that statement, that policy we do. So what the policy means is that they won't allow third party involved in Form M again. Okay? And the strategy is actually this. A lot of people, it is not what they requested for through Form M that they use the money for.
Okay. For some people.
To be very candid with you, 40%. And they are making a lot of money.
Yes. All right, so it's affecting Nigeria.
In fact, the policy is affecting Nigeria.
Okay. Before I take Kenny's reaction, we had a conversation with the chairman of the former national president of the ANLCA, and when we had this conversation with him, he had a totally different perspective to some of this to this issue. I'm talking about Chief Sir Ernest Elochukwu, who is the CEO of Nestello Gateways Group, is the former national president of the Association of Nigerian Licensed Custom Agents, and I discovered that he had to break it down, really. We had this conversation with him, and I'd like you to listen to what he has to say.
It's constricting, stifling the economy. And so, this circular now has gone to aggravate that situation, because by application it means that a whole lot of restrictions will now be put in place again. And that is actually the problem that I have with this circular. Because on the surface it talks about, that they want to assure that items are not overpriced. Overpricing, that's over-invoicing. Over-invoicing was done when the Nigerian currency was comparatively lower than the international counterpart. And so people had the need, especially foreigners, had the need to be repatriating money illegally, or even some Nigerians were even trying to send money abroad. But today, it looks a far cry when you consider that the Nigerian naira has actually become the lowest, the weakest currency, not just in the world now, but even in Africa. I remember way back when myself and my friends changed 150,000 naira to go for a trade expedition in Cote d'Ivoire, and we had some millions of CFA. That wasn't long ago. Today, I'm sure that 1 naira will now be trading against, 1 CFA will be trading against a whole lot of naira. So, it has actually, on my own, as a person, as a Nigerian, aroused my anger and my worries about how those who are charged with conducting our affairs, especially those areas that affect us directly every day, how they do their duty. And so this has actually made me to inquire a lot into what is going on. For instance, part of this circular said that additionally, and in line with best international practice around the world, that the CBN is going to introduce product price verification mechanism.
We want to
yes, so Kenny Adeaga is still back here with us. Yes, Kenny, what's your reaction?
Yes, I want to agree with the two opinions both from Elochukwu and our man in the studio.
No, Mr. Oyefeso.
Of course, what I've always been saying has been that the regulators, in this case, the Central Bank of Nigeria, needs to tighten its the departments that go into investigation, the monitoring department, in order for our naira to continue to stabilize. Like the analysts you have said, that it's not even 40%, it's more than 40% of those who ask for forex are not using it for what it is meant for. We are coming back to the era of round tripping of the forex, and that is the CBN decided to say, right now, for you to request for the forex, it must be seen as being requested for a genuine item, and it will be purposefully used for that item. And so, if they don't take this action now, it's going to affect our economy badly. Yes, the operator may be saying this rule or this new policy is affecting them. Before now, what were they doing? Did they call their other members to order? When somebody asks for forex or to import toothpick, you can imagine what benefit, what will be the benefit to our economy? All right,
Elochukwu still has a lot to say about over-invoicing. Now, when it came to over-invoicing, I was a little bit confused because I didn't get it really. But let's listen to Chief Ernest Elochukwu again. He was talking about over-invoicing, and I was just confused as to how do you over-invoice people? Can we have Chief Elochukwu's interview?
There is something that is even curious. Because this is a balderdash. It's a nonsense. Form M is not international documents in trade. Perhaps Nigeria might be the only country that I know that is using Form M. And so how would somebody tell me that in line with international best practices, that action they're taking on Form M, including what they now call, they're going to call product price, maybe comparison and all that. So, and like I said, it has aroused a lot of things in me as a Nigerian. Because when the last time the president made a declaration that some of the appointees, those who were put in trust, had betrayed trust, of course Nigerians had this focus on those who corruptly enriched themselves, abused the office and other nepotism and all that. But for me, I think I see a bigger picture on it. Because if someone or people are appointed to a particular position and over time they have not been able to deliver, it's an abuse of trust for me. Because it means that they have failed not only the president that appointed them, but they have failed the whole Nigeria. And so that's why I felt that this should be challenged now.
But sir, let me come in, sorry.
Yes.
Would you see to me?
All right, we're back here, and over invoicing. He was talking about importation there. He said, "Who wants to over invoice in Nigeria as at today?" But really, do people really over invoice, Mr. Oyefeso?
Yes, they do.
Really?
Because in every sector there's what you call an inside dealings, and every inside dealings result into profiteering. So, because if I discover that if I import and I'm going to be charged and I'm going to, coming back, so if I can trade off what I want, the forest I have with me, and make 100%, man, forget about it. Yes, it's possible. But
what about the side that smuggling is likely to increase? Because that's Elochukwu's view about this.
Not quite.
He's saying smuggling is likely to increase if you do not reverse this policy. Yeah. And
now, you see, my own aspect of it is that, number one, the CBN, we see in Nigeria we should get things straight. And wherever we belongs to, we should act decisively on that. Let's know where we are and work with what the policy is stated. The CBN policy means that there will be no longer approved payment for foreign exchange for applicant. That is not right, because you see, you can never do anything alone. There should be agents, there can be third party. Okay, so in every sector, it's not a norms in Nigeria. That's how it's obtainable all over the world. Okay. I cannot just go from Nigeria to clear my glute in Florida port. No, I have to walk through one or two persons to get things done. That is a norm. Now, the CBN policy is also aimed to check illegal, illegitimate drainage. Draining of the country's scarce resources. Okay, that is true. But if it's well regulated, you can monitor where the fund is being routed to. Then the next thing you do is that you blacklist that individual from taking such in the near future.
Just like the companies that they just
exactly. So you cannot take part again. So that will serve as a deterrent to others who want to do it. Okay. Because you cannot
stopping
everybody. No, because not everybody is doing that. So then the policy will also reduce. If the policy is actually implemented, the policy will reduce abuse which occur in the previous. So the policy that the government wants to do can also can still be embarked on. Then the policy also will majorly affect foreign freight forwarders, since the rule says you can only deal with the ultimate beneficiary. So it's going to streamline one or two things. You should bring things. But the argument is this. The argument is that it's affecting some people more than the policy. And you see, in any policy, you should put human face. They just make policy.
And let me listen lastly to Elochukwu again. When you talk about human face, he also has a perspective to it. You know, very interesting man he is, really. He has a perspective to this issue of having a human face.
Sometimes I ask myself, when people want to blame, they will blame the economy on the president. Is the president supposed to be a champion in all areas? He's supposed to appoint people who are presented to him as competent people, experts. And these are the people he appoints. And then I also think that Nigerians have a role. It is not about the president's headache, if you ask me. Because if I am the president and you bring somebody and say he's good at this, and probably there are many qualifications and to support it, I will appoint him. But then we have structures in this government, including the National Assembly. And that's why I'm calling on the National Assembly to come and interrogate CBN.